Hello, I'm Claire Louise Hay from BeHealing.com and I've made a new pick a card read for you. What's going on in your love life? Well, let's find out. I'm going to give you a full Celtic Cross Tarot love spread. I've made 3 readings here. It's a timeless reading. Whenever you get into it's good. Each one of them has got a deeper dive to it. That's an extended reading that goes with it. If you find that it is your story, could be a story, want it to be a story, then you might want to get that for even more. If you do, towards the end of these readings, I'll be popping a link for it up there. There's also a link for that in the description box and in the comments below. And that's where you can also find your timestamps to fast forward to your reading. Now I've got 2 prize draws for a free full reading with me every single month. The first prize draw, all you need to do to enter is be a subscriber to my YouTube channel, click like on this video and leave a comment. That'll get you 1 entry in. You can enter as many times as you like. The other way is by getting the deeper dive read to this or any other of my pick a card read love readings in the month. So good luck with winning those. Which one would you like? Would you like the crystal? Crystal's out with the 5 of Pentacles from the Light Seers Tarot deck. Would you like the flower? The flower is out with the Emperor from the Muse Tarot deck. Or would you like the shell? And the shell is out with the Queen of Swords from the Tarot of Mystical Moments. Take a pick now and don't forget to click like on this video, leaving a comment of course and clicking that subscribe button if you're new. I have a live show 3 times a week here on YouTube. I give 1 question readings in there. You can book in for one of those 1 question readings at any time on my website, BeHealing.com. Find a link for that in the description box below and also one up there too. All the pre-booked readings I'll do right at the start of the next show, then send you the link to the replay so you don't need to be able to come live if you can't make it or if you don't want to. And you'll still get your reading. Alternatively, find the next show laying in wait on my YouTube channel by clicking Be Healing down there. Click on set a reminder or notify me to come live, and you can book while I'm live too. I also offer private readings as well from my website BeHealing.com, and you can find a link for that in the description box below and also one up there too. Get those out within 48 hours of your ordering, and there's different styles of readings that you can get there. And so take your pick now, crystal, flower or shell. I'll see you in your reading. So if you chose the crystal along with the Light Seers Tarot, then this one's for you. Let's give you a full Celtic Cross love spread. Find out what's going on in your love life. Now crystals, as usual, there's going to be a deeper dive to this. That's an extended reading that goes with this. If you find that this is your story, could be a story, want it to be a story, then you might want to get that for even more. If you do, toward the end of the reading, I'll be popping a link for it up there. There's also a link for that in the description box and in the comments below. So your cards are already flying out. Let's find out what it's all about, this reading for you guys, for your love life. The 4 of Pentacles and the 5 of Pentacles. 4 of Pentacles is about us holding our energy back, being very selective. And the 5 of Pentacles is a feeling of being left out, like something isn't happening. Now, you guys, crystals, you might have got yourself to the point where you know yourself, you love yourself, you know exactly what it is that you want in a relationship. And you're kind of holding back and waiting for the right person to come in, but it doesn't seem to be happening. So there's a part of you that feels left out, like, why isn't it happening? Why am I alone still? 5 of Pentacles, this is, yeah. I think you guys, you're selective. You got the bar set high for yourself and it doesn't seem to be happening for you. So that's the predicament that you guys are in, according to this reading. What's crossing you? So what is hindering you in this? The past, 6 of Cups. Reminiscing on the past. So something in your past that is holding you back here. So perhaps you haven't healed from someone that hurt you, or something that hurt you. In other words, the 4 of Pentacles, it's the energy of holding back, but perhaps you're holding back just a little bit too much because of the past, because of what you've been through in the past. So how do things appear on the surface of it? The love life of crystals. How do things appear on the surface? So how's it looking for crystals on the surface? The Hierophant and the 8 of Wands. Direct communication. The Hierophant is about a long-term relationship and doing things very traditional way as well. So you could be talking to some people or in communications, perhaps for dating or something like that, getting to know people, and you being very sure that you want a long term. So you could be putting it out there, you know, and someone gets in touch with you to see if you want to go on a date. You could be talking about the long term or very traditional kind of things. Or you're in a position where you are if you're talking to people, or if you say you're on a dating site or something like that, you will always make sure it's like the traditional way to make sure that you've got someone that's coming to you for the long term. What I mean by that is perhaps you're holding out for them to make the first move and for them to do things in the tried and tested way, that traditional kind of way, to kind of take you on a date. Do it the way that someone who wants a long-term relationship would do it. So what I'm saying here is it appears on the surface that you are wanting that kind of direct communication with you that tells you, perhaps not directly, I want a long-term relationship, but there's other ways to communicate that, right? There's other ways to communicate that we want a long-term relationship, and sometimes it's the way that we approach. So I feel like you're kind of very specific about how you want to be approached, and what's really behind that. Knight of Cups. There's romance behind that. So you want it to be like a romantic, traditional approach. Knight of Cups is the romantic approach. So not only do you want them to kind of come at you the right way to show you that they want a long-term relationship, but really you're wanting them to show you that they're going to romance you. So perhaps in the past you had relationships that went a bit stale, where they weren't really treating you right, and perhaps the romance was lacking, or things fizzled out, how we kind of go off each other. It could be that. Anyway, let's find out more. What's the recent past energies? Recent past energies is confusion about choices, and it could be a confusion about how you were choosing as well, how you made choices in your love life, who you should choose, how you should choose, what's really important, what you can choose, like what you can choose in someone to make sure that they're going to be long-term and have this traditional and romantic. I think you guys, you're looking for someone very traditional, right? Someone that's going to be romantic and treat you right. But there's a confusion in the past of how you were choosing people that weren't that, or a confusion about how to choose someone, what to look for in someone so that you get that. Near future energies. I don't know which it is. I'm going to have to go again, because there's too many cards there. So what's coming in the near future for crystals? Near future energies for crystals. Is it some of the cards? No, but it's similar. We've got Temperance and the Empress. So things could go slowly for you in the near future. Temperance is the need to bide your time. The Empress energy says like you are birthing something new, but there's this feeling like you need to get confident and really clear on what you deserve first. So this reading is saying perhaps you're thinking like, how can I know what I want? I want someone with a traditional approach, someone that's going to romance me, but how can I choose? And you're doing all this with your mind, right? How can I choose someone that will be like that? And this is saying it's more about the feeling of being the Empress. So the feeling of being the Empress is more what you do for yourself, right? It's loving and honoring yourself, respecting yourself, all those things, self-esteem, self-respect, self-worth, all of those self things, right, is the Empress energy. So it's like sitting in that Empress energy, knowing what it is that it's not knowing what you deserve in someone else, it's knowing that you deserve the very best of life, and you're giving yourself the very best of life. You're building things for yourself as the Empress. And Temperance is saying just like waiting it out, staying in that energy and waiting it out. So there's no room for doubt here or questioning it. There's not this energy of the like, I don't know what to choose, I don't know how I'm doing it, I don't know how to move this forwards. It's saying you don't need to, you just need to sit in this Empress energy. If you think about it, someone who knows who they are, who's loving themselves, and they've got a great life, and they're really holding that energy, when the right person, when the Emperor comes in and notices the Empress, he'll feel that match, and he's going to be the one that wants to approach the Empress in that way. And so there's a feeling here that you're being told to sit in that energy and be reassured in that energy, instead of questioning yourself and doubting yourself of like, what do I need to do? You don't, you just need to be that energy and kind of wait. So this reading is about the Four of Pentacles and the Five of Pentacles, as you feeling like I'm holding my energy back, but I'm all alone and it's not kind of working. What else is this reading about? What else is this reading about? What else is this reading about, please, for crystals? Seven of Pentacles, investing in things. Seven of Pentacles, what to invest in? So what to invest in? Well, we want to invest in those that are investing in us, right? And so, especially as the Empress energy, you want someone to make the first move. You want the Emperor to make the first move and invest, and then you do a counter investment, right? And the Empress doesn't make the first move. So what should you invest? Well, you invest when someone else invests. And if you're saying that, like, if this reading is saying like, well, that's not happening now, Claire, nobody's investing, it's, well, then you sit pretty and you wait. You do this, Temperance and the Empress, and wait for someone to come in and invest. Okay, so what else? What are your fears? What are your fears in this situation? Page of Cups and the Queen of Wands. So the Queen of Wands energy is your energy. It's very attractive energy. It's kind of you shining your light and attracting a lot in. You could have a lot of people wanting to be with you, attracting a lot of attention. Perhaps it's not the attention, the kind of attention that you want. And the Page of Cups is very much the limerence card. So this is the fantasy. So it's a fear like you're in a fantasy here, waiting for something that isn't even available. Pie in the sky. Pigs will fly. It's literally on that card that pigs will fly. So you know that you're attracting a lot, but there's this pigs might fly. You know, this, is it even possible what I'm looking for? So there's disbelief going on in this reading, right? There's disbelief in your energy about this. What are you hoping for? What are you hoping for? The King of Wands. The King of Wands, the one that will come in, the strong one, the go-getter, the one that's going to choose you, the one that's going to make the move, you know, the definitive, and they'll say, you're mine, I want you, and then they'll take action toward it. So the King of Wands. What are you hoping for? Seven of Swords is the card of, I want to say discernment. It's not discernment. It's fooling ourselves, you know. It's someone not being who they say that they are. Someone lying. Deception, that's the word. And it can be self-deception. So why would you be hoping for this? Well, perhaps it's upside down. It's like you want someone to come through truthfully. King of Wands. So the King of Wands, sometimes we think people are the King of Wands when they're just the Knight of Wands, so they're just kind of a player. The King is not that, is not the Knight of Wands, it's not a player. They're the King, so they've got to the point of self-development where they've mastered themselves, you know, they've mastered this Wands energy, their attraction energy, their passion energy, mastered that. So you're hoping it's kind of true. King of Wands, kind of a true King of Wands, not someone that's just pretending to be the King of Wands. So yeah, people that pretend to be the King of Wands can be like narcissists, that type. Okay, so let's get your outcome cards out. So how is this going to go then? Let's see what the outcome is to this. I'll be revealing the first outcome card to you in this reading, but the rest of them, because I'm going to get a progression of them out for you to get the full story here. The rest of them I'll be revealing in that pick a card read. Not pick a card read. In the deeper dive. Switch my brain off. In the deeper dive read, that extended reading that goes with this. So in that extended reading, I'll also be getting cards out from these decks back here. Getting timing cards out as well. Message cards from your person, the person that's going to come in. Now, if you do have someone coming in these outcome cards, we're going to get into their energies. If they don't pop out in these outcome cards, then we're going to go into guidance for you And yeah, let's still tap into somebody that's on the path ahead for you, kind of next relationship energies. What are the outcome cards first? Outcome cards for crystals, please, because they're slow coming out. Okay. Da, da, da. Just one more, please. Okay. Okay, so you have 7 outcome cards here. Now the first one is, you might not want to hear this, but the 3 of Wands. The 3 of Wands is like more waiting. There's more waiting for that perfect moment, for that perfect person to come in. But then you've got all of these 6 cards coming after that. So if you want to find out what this progression is after the 3 of Wands, after some more waiting for that perfect person, for the perfect timing, you might want to get that deeper dive. If it does sound like this is your story, then if you want that, I'll pop a link for it up there. There's also a link for that in the description box and in the comments below. It's 20 Australian dollars, which is about 15 American dollars right now. And it's an instant watch kind of a thing. You do need to type your email address in very carefully, because if you get that wrong, you will not receive it. Now the email, it might end up in your inbox, but it might end up in your spam, your junk, or your promotions folder. Do check in those places. In that email, you will see a link to the crystal, the flower, and the shell. Click on the crystal on a device that you can open PDFs with. In that PDF, amongst other things, you'll see a picture of a video, and when you click on that, if it doesn't take you right away to a video, just try it on a different device and it will. So thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to click like. Before you click off down there, click that subscribe button if you're new, and leave a comment. That'll get you an entry into that prize draw for a free reading with me, as we'll get in that deeper dive too. But if this is where you're leaving me, good luck with all of this. And if you're coming with me to that deeper dive read for even more, then I will see you in there very shortly. So if you chose the flower, then this one's for you. The flowers and the US tarot, this one's for you. Let's give you a full Celtic Cross Tarot love spread and find out what's going on in your love life. Now, as usual, flowers, there's going to be a deeper dive to this. That's an extended reading that goes with it. If you find that it is your story, could be a story, want it to be a story, then you might want to get that for even more. If you do, toward the end of the reading, we'll be popping a link for it up there. There's also a link for that in the description box and in the comments below. So let's get straight into your reading. 2 cards out. First of all, you've got the World and the Emperor. So for you guys, this reading is all about somebody traveling toward you, the Emperor, divine masculine energy. They might not be in your location at the moment, but the World suggests that at travel, I'm getting like location difference. And the Emperor being the one that takes charge, so the one that makes the move, the one that takes the lead, the divine masculine. So they're the action takers. So this reading, yeah, it's about someone that's at a distance from you, and about travel, and about them taking the lead. What is crossing you? Because 2 other cards fell out already. The 9 of Emotions and the Queen of Materials. So the Queen of Materials is about you being successful, you being very stable. The 9 of Emotions and making your own wishes come true. So this is what's crossing you, is that at the moment you are very stable. I mean, this should be good energy, right? But it's crossing you, meaning that it's kind of hindering you in some way. But you can make your own wishes come true. It's like not needing for anyone else. The Queen of Materials is very stable. Like if this was the 9 of Pentacles with the 9 of Emotions, it would be a little bit softer. But the Queen, it's like she's mastered it. She's mastered that independence. I do everything for myself. I don't need anyone else. I'm successful by myself. I make all my wishes come true. My heart's happy. And you know, we've got to love ourselves first, right? That is important. But this, I don't know, it just feels like it's taken a little bit too far. Like I need nobody. I don't need to get anything from anybody. And if you ask your heart that, like, is this enough? 9 of Emotions. Is 9 of Emotions enough? Or heart, are you missing out on anything? Is there something that you really want? If you ask your heart that question, like truly and honestly, your heart will want something from someone else. Love, like we are social creatures and we want relationship, and we do have needs, and we feel way happier. You might be happy enough as you are, but you could be way happier and like life full of joy with like an amazing partner that brings a lot into your life. Just think of that. So think of like your 10 of Emotions kind of thing, your heart being really fulfilled with someone else. And then ask your heart, like, what would you like from somebody else to get to that point? You know, what would you like? What can you let in? What needs do you have to be that happy? I know you're happy enough as you are, it's obvious, but there's a settling energy here, you see. You're settling for the level of happiness that you've managed to attain by yourself and saying, well, I don't need anything else. It's like, well, yeah, but you could be really, really, really happy. And your heart is kind of missing out on that. And so there's a need for you to admit and like listen to your heart and get your heart to admit, yeah, I would like more. How do things appear on the face of it in your love life? Oops. How do things appear on the face of it? There's way too many cards there. Let's try that again. On the face of it, you have the Eight of Inspiration. So you know what you want, you're determined and you're moving forward. Eight of Inspiration is like your goal, your target. You know where your target is, you're moving toward it. Now that could be in anything in your life, like building something for yourself, business, anything in your life. Like you know where you're headed, you know what it is that you want, you get yourself there, you can rely on yourself. What's really behind that? What's really behind that? What's really behind that? Six of Voices, yeah. Ah, okay. Six of Voices is about getting yourself from A to B, but the Six of Voices is different, you see, because this is you. And there's obstacles, and this is the universe or somebody else helping you out to get there. So even though you can be independent and get yourself to certain places, there's certain places you can't get yourself without other people. There's something in this, you know, especially for women. I'm seeing it and I'm experiencing it for myself too. What I've noticed is, it just came to me as I was watching YouTube yesterday. The channels of the channels that I subscribe to, it's a lot of health and fitness and stuff. And so there's women's channels and there's men's channels. And what I noticed is that there's a difference. There's a one specific difference that I noticed yesterday between the men's channels and the women's channels is that the men, they have a crew, they have a film crew, they have somebody like filming them. The women, they're by themselves, they're doing it all themselves. They just have like a fixed camera. I'm doing it too. The men's channels, no, they've got a film person. They've got someone that's like behind the camera doing it for them. Now there is one channel that I follow where she has a husband film her. She calls him the cameraman. So yes, but again, it's mostly the men's channels that have someone else helping them. So why are women doing everything by themselves and not allowing themselves to expand by having other people with them? Perhaps because we've been taught to be like really independent and do everything ourselves, and we're capable, and we need to prove that we're capable to do everything ourselves. It could be that. There is something here about allowing someone else to take you past obstacles, perhaps past a glass ceiling that you've got, or to allow greater expansion or bigger wishes. You're making your own wishes come true, but perhaps there's a cap on your wishes because you realize that you can only do so much yourself. So you've capped your wishes rather than saying, who can help me? Who can come into my life to help me do this? There's a need here to raise your expectations of what someone else can do for you. That might be scary for some of you. To let someone else in, it makes you very vulnerable, right? Let someone else in to make your wishes come true. That makes you very vulnerable to them, right? Recent past energies. Recent past. The Fool and the Empress. So, starting something new, the Empress, building up your empire. So this could be like a new job, new career, new business. But yeah, definitely doing things by yourself with this Empress card, which is good because it's got you into an energy of feeling good about yourself. The Empress, this is what I deserve. I can do certain things for myself. So then you're feeling good about yourself. You've proved it to yourself that you can do good things, right? It doesn't mean that you can do everything though. And it certainly doesn't mean that you should lower your standards or the joy and what you can experience in life. And so that you have to do it by yourself. So something new started. You started something new for yourself, and it has got you into a better feeling about yourself. And really, that is a foundation, isn't it? Of feeling good about ourselves. That's a foundation to anything else. So I do feel like you're on the right track. What's coming in the near future? Near future for flowers. What's coming in the near future for flowers? You got, nice. The Magician is using the resources around you in order to manifest something else, and the Five of Inspiration, reaching higher. This is great news, because this means that what I've just told you is actually sinking in. You're going to reach higher and expect more for yourself. Go for more, the Magician, but using the resources around you. What does that mean? Well, it means like the resources that you've got inside of yourself, but it also means that the resources that you've got around you are the resources that are on the planet or other people. Now, some of you might have an aversion for that, because it's like, why would I use someone else? You know, it might feel like using to you, but it doesn't have to. Chances are that you'll help someone else to make their dreams come true, because it feels really good to do that. So why not let someone else help you make your dreams come true? And you might dream a new dream and let other people help you, or get open to dreaming a new dream, even more wishes that you can't possibly do yourself, and so you'll need someone to come in. I think that's what this reading is asking you for. Is like, you've got an Emperor here. Remember, this reading is about an Emperor, divine masculine, who is at a distance from you at the moment. And perhaps you need to get yourself in the energy of, yeah, I want of bigger dreams. Like, I want someone to help me out, instead of lowering your dreams so that you can be independent. Because if you're dreaming a bigger dream that you couldn't possibly do yourself, then that's going to attract the energy in of somebody who can. So the bigger your dreams are, the higher caliber of person you're attracting in to make those dreams come true. And the Emperor would love to make your dreams come true, same as you love to make their dreams come true too. The Emperor and Empress right next to each other there. It's good. So what else is this reading about? You do have like an Emperor in waiting. It just feels like you don't need them yet. So why would they come in if you don't need them? And I'm not talking about needing them as in being needy. But if you've got big dreams, then you need to get other people on board with that and allow other people to help you. What else is this reading about? Reciprocity. Allowing it in. Wouldn't you love to meet an Emperor who has like really big dreams and visions, who allows people to help him with that, and you'll want to help them to reach those dreams too? Well, how about you having those bigger dreams and visions too, so that they're like, wow, I love that dream that you've got. Let me help you make that happen. And you don't need to do it all by yourself. You don't need to do it all by yourself. So I think there's a fundamental belief here about having to do everything by yourself, because that keeps you safe, but it also keeps you down. What are your fears? Waiting. Temperance, waiting. What are your fears? I mean, tempering can be lowering our standards as well, right? When we temper ourselves, we reduce a feeling that we've got. So if you're tempering yourself and you're angry, then you reduce that anger. So it might be like fearing lowering your standards. Three voices, heartbreak, having your heart broken. So it could be that the experiences that you've had when you have had dreams and people haven't helped you in that, or they've just flat out refused to, saying, no, you need to do that for yourself. Not only do you need to do that for yourself, but you need to help me out too. You know, you could have just been refused that many times and it broke your heart by people that didn't love you. But what you're wanting here, the Emperor, is going to be someone that will want to, you know. We do. Like good people, they like to help other people out and make other people's dreams come true. It's great. I just heard yesterday that there's somebody who wants to come back to this island and start something up, and it's like, yeah, I would love to help them out with that. Not even like go into business with them or anything, just be a part of it, because I want to help them make that dream come alive, because it's a really good dream and I want to be part of it. It'd be great energy. Other people want to do that for you too, for your dreams as well. So what are your hopes? What are your hopes? You've got the Muse of Inspiration come out. That's the King of Wands. So you're hoping for someone that comes in, that takes action, that knows what they want, comes and claims you. Someone very definitive, you know, someone that's just like, yep, I know what I want too. I want you. You're a match to that. And they actually take action on it. It's also the energy of a like entrepreneur energy. And hopes, Two of Materials, and Death. So you're hoping for balance with the Two of Materials and death, like death and rebirth. So end of like the old way of you being and the start of something new, a whole rebirth, like completely different experience in life. So let's get your outcome cards out. I like this reading. Outcome cards for flowers. What's the outcome? So I'm going to get a progression of cards out for you and reveal the first outcome card to you in this reading. The rest of the cards I will be revealing in that deeper dive read, along with cards from the decks back there to get more guidance out for you, but also get some information about this Emperor who is somewhere else, and see when they're coming in, and get some message cards out from them as well. And anyone else that's popping up here in your outcome cards. Let's get your outcome cards out first. Outcome for flowers. Outcome for flowers, please. One more. Two more. What else? What else? What else? And then what? There we go. Okay. Oh, okay. I get it. All right. So you have 6 outcome cards here. The first outcome card is the Five of Materials. Five of Materials is going it alone. It's feeling left out. It's knowing where you're headed. You're headed towards something. There's a persistence in the Five of Materials card where you are, even though it's perhaps not the most comfortable of paths that you're taking, you're still determined to get yourself there. Yeah, there's a determination about going things alone, perhaps now to be left out, but to get you somewhere else that you want to be. So that's where you start. It's kind of a little bit more struggle street kind of thing, and aloneness, but then it leads to something else, and the progression is right here. If you want to find out what those cards are for your outcome and all the rest of it, then you might want to get that deeper dive. If you do, I'll pop a link for it up there. There's also a link for that in the description box and in the comments below. It's 20 Australian dollars, which is about 15 American dollars right now, and it's an instant watch kind of a thing. You do need to type your email address in very carefully, because if you get that wrong, you will not receive it. Now, the email, it might end up in your inbox, but it might end up in your spam, junk, or promotions folder. Check those places. In that email, you will see a link to the crystal, the flower, and the shell. Click on the flower on a device that you can open PDFs with. In that PDF, amongst other things, you'll see a picture of a video. And when you click on that, if it doesn't take you right away to a video, just try it on a different device and it will. So thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to click like. Before you click off down there, click that subscribe button if you're new, and leave a comment, because that'll get you an entry into that prize draw for a free reading with me, as we'll get in that deeper dive read too. But if this is where you're leaving me, good luck with all of this. And if you're coming with me to that deeper dive read, then I'll see you in there very shortly. If you chose the shell, and this one's shells, this one's for you. And the Tarot of Mystical Moments. Let's give you a full Celtic Cross Tarot love spread, find out what's going on in your love life. Now, as usual, shells, there's going to be a deeper dive to this. That's an extended reading that goes with this. If you find that this is your story, it could be a story, you want it to be a story, then you might want to get that for even more. If you do, toward the end of the reading, I'll be popping a link for it up there. There's also a link for that in the description box and in the comments below. So let's get straight into your reading and find out what this reading is all about, shells. You have the Queen of Swords out first and the Nine of Pentacles. This is saying your boundaries, your closed offness, your boundaries, your the hard part of you, the part of you that's kind of locked your heart in a cage, the part that's learned boundaries, learned how to empower yourself, protect yourself, and all of that kind of thing, is slowing things down. Knight of Pentacles, it's making things slower for you. So that's what this reading is about. Perhaps we are, in this reading, speeding up your path. I presume that you don't want to spend years alone figuring all of this out. So your guides seem to be wanting to speed you along this path to open up. So let's find out more about this then, if you feel that that might be true about you. What is hindering you here? What is crossing you in this? I mean, the Queen of Swords is a good energy. We need to go through that phase of learning boundaries, learning how to, you know, uphold those boundaries, assert those boundaries, uphold those boundaries, learning how to be empowered, how to stand up for ourselves and all of that kind of thing. But there is a phase. It's a phase, right? There's a phase after that of becoming more open, and perhaps you're ready for that. So what's hindering you? The Hanged Man. Changing your mind, having an open mind. Right. So what happens? What happens? We go through life, we learn lots of different lessons along the way. One of those lessons, first of all, we'll like heal ourselves, right? Well, there's a lot of different lessons, but after healing tends to come the empowerment phase, because healing isn't enough. Then we're like, okay, now I'll stand on my own 2 feet. I'll learn boundaries, and I know that I'm okay. I don't need to be scared anymore, so I can actually communicate with people about what my needs are and what doesn't fly with me, what is not okay with me, and it's okay to speak out like that and to uphold those boundaries. And if someone's stepping over my boundaries, I'm okay to release them out of my life, and you know, to stand up for what it is that I want in my life. So it's a great phase to go through, but it does tend to keep us blocked off from what we want until we realize there's a next stage to opening up after that. And the next stage is when we get to the point where it's like, I'm great with boundaries. I know how to stand up for myself. I know how to protect myself when needed. And now I can be open and trust myself every step of the way, because if some situation shows up where I do need to assert those boundaries, then I've got my Queen of Swords side of me that'll come straight out, and I'll use that when I need it. But I don't need to be the Queen of Swords all the time, right? I can trust that my Queen of Swords comes out when I need to. And so there's a need for you to change your mind here, perhaps to trust yourself, perhaps to trust yourself more so that you can bring it out when needed rather than have her at the forefront. It's the difference between I'm going to guard myself because everyone else is there to get me, or I can be unguarded because cross me and my Queen of Swords will come and I'll deal with it that moment, you know. So you don't need to be Queen of Swords anymore, because you've got her in your back pocket and you can pull her out at any time. It's trusting yourself is what it is. Trusting yourself that you have got whatever it takes. It's the Empress energy. You've got whatever it takes. So the Empress is the culmination of all queens, right? It's when you've mastered yourself. And so you don't need to be Queen of Cups all the time. You don't need to be Queen of Swords all the time. You don't need to be Queen of Pentacles all the time. And you don't need to be Queen... What's the other one? Queen of Wands all the time. But you're kind of a mixture of all of them. You can just be yourself in any moment, knowing that you can call those masters within yourself out at the appropriate time, appropriate moment. So how do things appear on the face of it? You have the Six of Cups. The Six of Cups is about past energy, of reminiscing of old times. What's really behind that? So what's behind this Six of Cups? So there might be an element of you kind of living in the past here, reminiscing on relationships past. Eight of Wands, communication, direct communication. Okay, so something is kind of holding you up here. It's something in the past when you did communicate yourself. Okay, what we've got here is a reading saying, you guys, you might be stuck in Queen of Swords mode, in protection mode. There's something in the past where you did speak out, you directly communicated something, perhaps it didn't go your way. The Queen of Swords side of ourselves is good. It's good to be able to empower ourselves. Is it always going to get us what we want? No, sometimes you just have to leave that person behind. You can assert your boundaries all you like, but if someone is a disrespectful person, they're going to keep on treading over everyone's boundaries, not just your boundaries. You can't win. You can't win with everybody. What you can do is be in alignment with yourself, be sure about what treatment you deserve, and then let people go. You might still have someone in your life that you're still trying to make it work with and feeling like you were the problem because you didn't have boundaries, but now you assert your boundaries and you speak out about it, but they still don't respect that. Well, they're not going to. Especially when we change the goalposts, we move the goalposts, right? So if someone has already known you as being a complicit person that will put up with anything, then you empower yourself. Even if they do have the capacity to respect people, they still might not respect you because you've moved the goalposts. So some relationships, they're just not fixable. You might still be trying to fix those relationships in the past, from the past, that should just be left in the past. You know, it could be someone that was there to provide you with some information, to give you an experience, to learn boundaries. It's not necessarily the one that you're able to proceed forward with. So you're stuck thinking that you haven't mastered your Queen of Swords, is what this reading is saying. You haven't mastered your boundaries. You think that you haven't because it is still not resolved with someone in particular from your past. And this reading is kind of saying it's not going to be resolved. It was never meant to be that way. That doesn't mean you've mastered. When you master your boundaries, you're mastering listening to yourself so that you know where your boundaries are at, not just putting up with things and then becoming resentful afterward, but actually feeling it in the moment and then not holding that boundary in the moment, speaking out about it. And then if someone doesn't respect that boundary, if they don't care or they say, okay, and then they just do exactly the same thing again, is know how to assert it. But if you keep on asserting it and they're still doing the same thing, it's knowing like there's a bigger boundary that needs to be had here. The bigger boundary is like, someone like you can't be in my life. And that's a hard place to get to, depending on who this person is. Because this could be a family member, this could be someone that's really important to you or has been really important to you, but a bigger boundary needs to be asserted. So here you are believing that you haven't kind of mastered it, but perhaps you kind of have, but you just are reluctant to assert that bigger boundary, reluctant to admit that there's no winning in this one. You're not responsible for other people's behaviors and their willingness to respect your boundaries. We can't make people do things. So you're not a failure in asserting your boundaries if someone can't respect them. Okay, so recent past energies, 10 of Cups. So very happy with someone. You had a lot of happiness with someone, like they could have been your happily ever after. A lot of happiness there. Near future energies. So what went on? Is that the one, 6 of Cups? You didn't manage to make it work even though you were outspoken about your boundaries. So you've got, in the near future, you've got coming in a strategy to Knight of Wands. Okay, a strategy. There's a need for you to have a strategy. 5 of Wands with somebody coming in here, Knight of Wands. So someone that's passionate, someone that is probably quite persuasive, someone you're going to be attracted to, someone that will move forward like with passion. You need a strategy around this person. Strategy for what? Well, it will be about your boundaries for sure. Testing boundaries out. So you need a strategy for what? Well, you need to find out earlier on who is going to respect your boundaries or not, which means early on in the dating thing, you need to assert a boundary. Even if you don't need to, you need to assert a boundary and see if they respect that. Because people will show you straight away, really, who they are. And if it's just a boundary like I need some space from this, or don't message me while I'm at work. Whatever it is, it can be a little boundary, but you'll get to know whether someone is a respecter of boundaries or not. And this might have been flying under your radar that you didn't realize that this is a big issue for you, so you didn't know to test people's boundaries. Not test people's boundaries, but test people's boundary compliance, whatever that thing is. You know what I'm talking about. You might just, be averse to the test like that, but why not test them and see if they are the kind of person, because then you're not going to waste your time, right? And it's good anyway to assert boundaries in the dating process of like, can't let people like commandeer all of our time and our energy. It's good to have some boundaries and have some time for ourselves and stuff like that. So yeah, you're going to have a strategy to assert a boundary just to see. So you don't have that unknown of like, can't trust myself with boundaries. Well, trust yourself with boundaries. Assert one straight away and see if it's someone that respects boundaries. What else is this reading about? King of Pentacles, stable one. Leader, kind of a person. So you could be attracting somebody in who's kind of very stable. This is saying that your boundaries are kind of slowing down your progress. It's someone stable coming in, but still I need to test them. Yeah, don't be averse to testing people. You just like going on different dates and like being in different circumstances so you can see who they really are, around different, in different situations, so that you can get to know somebody and how they deal with different kind of situations, different kinds of people, that kind of thing. You want to get to kind of test someone, not by kind of not testing them, but perhaps go to like a top end restaurant and see how they fit in there and how they deal with that, and perhaps go to something that's really not top end, like low end kind of thing, but some great people, and see how they treat those people there, and those kind of tests, but then testing the boundary too. Anyway, this is good. You've got a King of Pentacles here, so perhaps things will move forward faster for you once you've learned to trust your boundaries and test those boundaries earlier on. What are your fears? You fear investing. Seven of Pentacles. So perhaps you invest. Perhaps in the past you've invested a lot and then found out that they don't uphold your boundaries. It could be that. Nine of Swords. You're fearing fear itself. You're fearing anxiety, nervousness. Okay, so it could make you nervous. Right, okay, I wasn't picking up on that before, but that's often something that we can have when we're learning about boundaries, is if we have had people that walk all over people's boundaries, that don't like you to have boundaries, we can have very negative reactions from people when we speak out about our boundaries, and you might have had family like that, in fact, where you have these boundaries and they don't respect those boundaries, and it could make you very nervous. In fact, if someone retaliates to your boundary with force or with ridicule, or something really negative, that could cause you to fear having boundaries, to fear actually speaking out about them. So there could be like anxiety around this. I think it's just a matter of like doing it and practicing it, and even though you feel that fear and that anxiety of doing it, to still do it and know that you survive it. Even if they have a bad reaction to it, you will survive it. Got the Moon as well, fearing the unknown, the emotional unknown as well. It's the emotional unknown. So is this relationship going to emotionally fulfill me, or is this just a test of me having to be in this stressful state of setting boundaries all the time. I don't know, you might have had some tests around this. If you have been in the phase of empowering yourself and learning boundaries, in all likelihood is you will attract people in that test those boundaries and all of that kind of thing. And that, it doesn't mean that that's what's to come. That could just be like a lesson relationship, someone to give you practice at that, because that's what you've been focusing on. It doesn't mean like the relationship that perhaps this King of Pentacles comes in and they're not going to test your boundaries. You can kind of test them early on, and then they're like, okay, they're good, they're not going to overstep those boundaries, and so you can move forward. It's not as big a deal as you think it is. Whenever we're going through these learning phases, we're focused on that thing that we don't like, that thing that we're learning, and we bring more of that in. It doesn't mean that that's what's going to happen in the future. What are your hopes? Knight of Swords, to move forward with clarity. Hopes. Six of Pentacles for reciprocation. Yeah, someone that's just like you. Okay, so let's get your outcome cards out. I'll be revealing the first outcome card in this reading to you, and the rest of them that come out, because I'm going to get a progression of them for the full story of where you're headed. The rest of them will be revealed in the deeper dive read. Okay, so outcome cards. In that deeper dive read, I'll also be getting cards out from those decks back there too, to give you guidance. Find out about this King of Pentacles that we've got here as well. 2. 3, 4. Ooh. 5. Wow. 6, 7. You got 7 outcome cards there, and I like them very much for you. First outcome card is the 3 of Cups. Just throwing it on the floor. The 3 of Cups. 3 of Cups is about other people. It is about friends, perhaps a social gathering, something like that. So it could be that you're meeting somebody through friends or some kind of a social gathering, an event you're going to. Lots of noise out there. An event that you're going to or something like that. You've got something coming up and it's going to lead to this outcome here. I'll get a timing out about that as well in the deeper dive read. So if this sounds like it is your story, could be a story, you want it to be a story, you might want to get that deeper dive for even more. If you do, I'll pop a link for up there. There's also a link for that in the description box and in the comments below. It's 20 Australian dollars, which is about 15 American dollars right now, and it's an instant watch kind of a thing. You do need to type your email address in very carefully, because if you get that wrong, you will not receive it. Now the email, it might end up in your inbox, but it might end up in your spam, junk, or promotions folder. Do check in those places. In that email, you will see a link to the crystal, the flower, and the shell. Click on the shell on a device that you can open PDFs with. In that PDF, amongst other things, you'll see a picture of a video, and when you click on that, if it doesn't take you right away to another video, just try it on a different device and it will. So thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to click like. Before you click off down there, click that subscribe button if you're new, and leave a comment, because that will get you an entry into that prize draw for a free reading with me at the end of the month. As we'll get in that deeper dive read as well, that'll get you an entry into the other drawer as well. So good luck with winning those. But if this is where you're leaving me, good luck with all of this. And if you're coming with me to that deeper dive read, then I will see you in there very shortly.